the Hamas-Israel war. It is day 12. President Biden is back in Washington after his visit to Israel. He's preparing to speak about it in an address to the nation from the Oval Office tonight. That will be at 5 p.m. our time.
And the situation is only getting worse in the area. More than 4,000 people have been killed on both sides of the war. That includes 31 Americans, with 13 Americans still missing. And joining us to tell us more about it all from Tel Aviv is KCAL correspondent Rafael Romo. Rafael, President Biden is scheduled to address the nation tonight about his trip and the state of the Israel-Hamas war. What more do we expect to hear from him? Of course, he spoke yesterday while he was in Israel.
Shiva and Marcy, good morning to you. Good evening from Tel Aviv. President Biden plans to make a direct appeal to the American people to continue funding not only Israel but also Ukraine. Let's remember that there's still a war raging there, and two administration officials told CNN that the primetime address will take place on the eve of the White House requesting more than $100 billion from Congress. Biden wants to use the money to deliver aid and resources not only to Israel but also to Ukraine as well as Taiwan. The funding would also be used to address the immigration challenge at the U.S. border with Mexico. But more than anything, Shiva and Marcy, the key is this. Biden is expected to make the argument that supporting Ukraine and Israel is a matter of U.S. national security when the world is at an inflection point.
You know, Rafael, the World Health Organization is calling the situation in Gaza this morning out of control. We know a deal has been reached to get aid into the area, but Israel's still putting some limitations on it. And of course, they say that's because in the past, when they've tried to get some of these vehicles across with aid, weapons have been found. You know, what are the details of this current agreement?
Yeah, Shiva and Jamie, and what Israel doesn't want happening is for Hamas to get all the aid and then the civilians get nothing, right? And President Biden said during a refueling stop in Germany last night after a 7-hour visit to here in Israel that the breakthrough came during a 1-hour phone conversation with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The initial agreement calls for 20 trucks of humanitarian aid to be delivered to areas in Gaza that are still governed by Hamas. Israel has also agreed to allow aid to flow into Gaza. But again, President Biden cautioning that if Hamas confiscates the supplies meant for civilians, the aid will end. As you may remember, President Biden was scheduled to meet with the leaders of Egypt, Jordan, and the Palestinian Authority. That was supposed to happen Wednesday, but then after the blast at a hospital in Gaza, that meeting was canceled. And so this agreement with Egypt, very, very important. Back to you.
All right, and speaking of that explosion, of course, it was deadly and unexpected, and now an investigation continues to figure out who's at fault. What have we learned since yesterday about who could possibly be at fault for this?
Yeah, we have some developments about that. The U.S. National Security Council has assessed that Israel was not responsible for the blast at the hospital in Gaza on Tuesday that killed hundreds. Officials told CNN that the initial evidence gathered by the U.S. intelligence community suggests that the hospital strike came from a rocket launched by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group. The assessment is based on a blast analysis that suggests it was a ground explosion rather than an airstrike, given that there wasn't a crater at the site of the blast. The Israeli military had previously shown images and videos as evidence to support the same conclusion, intelligence that was shared with U.S. officials. So they're absolutely unequivocally denying that Israel had any part on this. Back to you.
All right, Rafael, thank you for that on the ground. Stay safe.
All right, and again, President Biden is expected to give an address at 5 p.m. We'll carry it on KCAL News, Channel 9, and on CBS Los Angeles Channel 2. We'll also stream it on CBS News Los Angeles.
The time